Hi everybody, welcome back to Recruiter.com's video series focusing specifically on interview questions. Today we're going to be talking about the question, give me a time that you disagreed with your boss. Now this can be a kind of risky question for an interviewer to ask because you don't want to make it seem that you don't respect authority or that you have gotten a lot of disagreements with your coworkers or your bosses in the past, but they do want to see that you have good communication skills, that you have an understanding of authority, and that you work well with others. So that's the reason why they're asking you that question, and they're really, again, not trying to target you or make it feel like you have to confess some big disagreement that you've had or some problems that you've had in the past. They really just want to know if you are able to speak to authority figures in a way that helps and that you can work with them and work with them openly and also be able to express your opinion. So here are some of our tips on how to answer the question, when was the time that you disagreed with your boss? So first and foremost, as always, you want to practice ahead of time and brainstorm ahead of time of some examples that you can talk about. It's especially important for this kind of question because it does have a negative connotation sort of to it. So you want to make sure that you have an example that is not a, horrible disagreement that really was detrimental to your career, your past positions, but maybe just shows how you are a real person with opinions. You got in a small disagreement over a certain project or change within your organization in the past and how you solved that. So make sure to think ahead of time of some examples to talk about in that sense. Another tip for answering, tell me about a time that you disagreed with your boss, is you want to have a three-step method. You want to talk about the disagreement, and then you want to show that you came up with alternatives for this disagreement. If there was a problem or something that you and your boss just did not see eye to eye about, talk about how you gave alternatives to your boss, how you thought of different options to solve this problem. Not only does it show that you're creative, it shows that you're a problem solver, but it also shows that you communicate well and that you work with others well again. So make sure that you show that, and the third part of that is explain the conclusion of what happened to this disagreement that you had. Explain what ended up happening in the end, how your opinion weighed in on it, if the disagreement went positively or negatively for you and for the employer. You want to give those kinds of details, but also shed light again on how you handled it in a respectful of authority in a very communicative way. So those are important things to outline. And again, you want to be, realistic with this kind of answer. So you don't have to say something like the worst answer you could have to this question is, oh, I've never had a disagreement with my boss, because that's not true in anyone's situation. Even if you haven't had, the conversation with your boss, maybe you just didn't really agree with something that they were doing with the organization or some kind of new rules that they had set up for the company. You want to still share this kind of example and show how you coped with it and show how you still were a great worker and had great work ethic, even in a situation where you were kind of disagreeing with what was going on around you. So again, make sure to outline how you have great communication skills, how you are respectful and mindful of authority, and how you work with others, because as they hire you into their company, and hopefully hire you, they want to see that you can work with teams, that you can work with bosses, and that you can deal with disagreements, because they're bound to happen. So they're only finding, again, that you are a real person, a real employee, but someone that can work through problems even if they might be difficult at first. So those are our tips for answering, tell me about a time that you disagreed with your boss. Stay tuned on Recruiter.com and our Twitter @Recruiter.com for more interview questions, tips, and tricks coming your way. See you next time.